play games, I watch football. Now I've really learned to stand up for my system whenever I'm having brain block or I'm having burnout. So yeah, but I'm still improving myself on that. I'm alive with Nexus TED Talk. My name is Timothy Adeyeye. I'm a back-end software engineer and I'm a startup builder. I have 5 to 6 years of experience now, and in the early stage of my career, really the first 3 years, I worked majorly in early stage startups where I was responsible for building products from scratch, and I was able to launch a few products in the edtech space, social media space, and recently. Most recent in the ERP business domain. So I really enjoy building stuff from scratch and launching products. And the computer science and economics, and basically how I am wired mentally. So let's think of how we can use technology, softwares to meet users' demands. That's the whole point of writing code for me. And apart from writing code, I enjoy playing football, I enjoy watching games. I'm a Madrid fan, Ala Madrid. And I also write. I write on Substack. I enjoy writing a lot. Anything that comes to my head, I just write. And then I'm a wannabe chef. So sometimes I enjoy cooking. I hope to become a chef one day. Two things. Well, the first is solving problems and curiosity. So right from childhood, secondary school, I've always had this penchant for solving problems, mathematics, physics, and all this kind of stuff. And then curiosity as to how the things I'm using. I mean, the games I'm playing, the phone I'm using, the softwares. How were they actually built? How do these things work under the hood? So that curiosity kind of inspired me to become a developer. And so getting into it, I just love this idea of, okay, you can see a problem, think about a solution, write some code, and then suddenly it becomes something people can literally use and sometimes even transform life and how we live our lives daily. So over time, that curiosity just became a career for me. And then I love, understanding how things work under the hood. And and so another thing that also inspired me is, being a developer, software engineer, or tech generally is financially lucrative. So why not become a developer? It's very difficult to say what my biggest challenge is for you, because this part sometimes is not funny, and there are just a lot of struggles and challenges here and there. All right, but to mention one thing for now, I would say is the challenge of balancing complexity with simplicity. All right, I've literally worked on applications software with 18 to 25 microservices, right? So very large code base, and as systems grows, it's very easy to over-engineer or introduce hidden complexities that later becomes painful for the team. All right, so learning to design systems that are scalable but yet still simple and maintainable is something really challenging for you, right? Perfect systems are in their simplicity, yet the more systems grows, the more complexity you have. So balancing that complexity and simplicity is a really big challenge. Well, to be sincere and realistic, right, I'm still improving myself on that, right? At least I'm not who I used to be early in my career, right? So when you enjoy building and then you love solving problems, it's very easy to get addicted and just spend your time thinking about the next thing to do. Right? But one thing I do, some of the things I do now is as I said earlier, I play games, I watch football, and then I enjoy reading, and then but now I've really learned to stand up for my system whenever I'm having brain block or I'm having burnout. So yeah, but I'm still improving myself on that. The projects I'm most proud of. It's very difficult to pick one, but I'm going to pick one anyway. I've been blessed to work on a really impactful project and launch cool products, right? Products which I love. I worked on an ERP-based solution called Losoft. I worked on a lang tech solution called My Lang Coach. I also launched a community-based app called Arad. And then currently I work in the automotive auto finance industry, and a solution, deeply impactful solution, which I really love. And on the side, I'm currently building a solution called Adeyeye with a couple of friends, amazing friends. And Adeyeye is an intelligent event marketing platform whereby, okay, we don't just stop at you creating your event. We help you to intelligently market it and reach the right audience. So simply a one tool for planning your event, a one tool for promoting your events to the right audience in a conversational manner, and a one tool for achieving repeatable audience growth. I'm hoping to launch Adeyeye sometime this year. Watch out. In the next 3 to 5 years, I see myself leading engineering teams, right? Building impactful solutions on a more larger scale and solving good problems. I don't know of any industry. Currently, I work in the automotive industry. So, but any industry, I see myself leading teams and leading engineering teams and solving more impactful solutions. And then I'm always been a startup person, so I see myself still building startups, but I don't have a successful startup yet. I still see myself launching products and building startups. So yeah, let's see what the future holds. Backend engineer. I've always been doing backend development through my career. My work focuses on building APIs, databases, system design, just building the invisible layers that make applications reliable and scalable. I enjoy databases, right, and distributed systems. So I love the fundamentals of databases and how to squeeze performance out of our databases. These are some of the things that really interest me. I'm also currently involved in some forms of AI engineering. My current tech stacks are Node.js, TypeScript, on the database, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, and sometimes Cassandra, and then cloud AWS, and I also write Python, particularly Fast API, and so on Node.js too. I currently write Nest.js for backend. So yeah. I would say, no, I'm not the type person that writes a lot of technologies. Currently, I'm in the Node.js and Python ecosystem. That's where I've always been functional. And so the one I love most, I can't really say between the two, but most times I write Node.js a lot of time, TypeScript, and I also love Python. I started my programming career as a Python programmer, so there's this first love that I still have for Python. So yeah, I would say both of them the same level. And why? Well, there's no major reason, but if I have to pick one, I'll still pick Node.js because that's currently what I work with and that's what pays the bills. I'm alive with Nexus Tech Talk.